Hey guys, welcome to POTS Survival Guide. So today I'm going to be talking about deconditioning, what it is, why it happens, how it relates to POTS, and how you can reverse it. So if you start a new workout routine and you start targeting muscles that you hadn't used very much in the past, the workout starts out really difficult, but over time it gets easier and easier because you're using those muscles more and more, and you often start to see some noticeable growth in those muscles. Deconditioning is exactly the opposite. When you have a chronic illness like POTS, or if you're forced to be on bed rest for any reason, you're using your muscles a lot less often than you're used to. And with muscles, the phrase use it or lose it really applies. If you're not using your muscles as much as you previously were, they're gonna literally shrink. So when your muscles shrink, that means that they become a lot weaker. They have to work a lot harder than they did previously to do the same work. So that's going to lead to fatigue, muscle weakness, a lot of symptoms of POTS. And one muscle that this occurs in that a lot of people don't think about is the heart. According to one study, for every single week of bed rest, your heart loses 1% of its mass. So this means that if you've been doing a lot of resting, which POTS usually forces people to do, your heart is literally shrinking. And as you probably know, POTS has a lot to do with the heart. So by spending a lot of time resting and letting yourself get deconditioned, you're actually probably aggravating your symptoms. So think about the trademark symptom of POTS. When someone with POTS stands up, they often feel lightheaded and their heart just starts pounding really, really fast. So the heart beats faster when anyone stands up, because when you go from a seated or laying down position to a standing position, a lot of the blood drains down to your feet momentarily. This is because of gravity and because you're using those muscles. But in a normal person, the heart rate will increase slightly, to get that blood from the feet back up to the heart and head and other places that need it. But in POTS, the heart isn't very efficient in doing this. So it needs to be a lot faster in order to perform the same function. So if your heart is smaller and weaker because of deconditioning, it not only has to beat faster because of the POTS, but it has to be even faster than that because it's not as effective in pumping blood. I mean, if it's smaller and weaker, each beat is going to do a lot less than a normal-sized heart. So if you can reverse some of that deconditioning, your heart isn't going to have to beat quite as hard to perform its normal function. Likewise, some of the muscle weakness in your arms and legs and wherever else, and a lot of your fatigue will probably get better if you become reconditioned. Blood pooling in the legs and lightheadedness also often improve with reconditioning. Now, I'm not trying to suggest that deconditioning causes POTS. In some cases, just reconditioning your muscles gets rid of a lot of people's POTS symptoms, but deconditioning and POTS are not the same thing. But that being said, deconditioning can cause a lot of the POTS symptoms to get a lot worse. And one study showed that like 95% of people with POTS are deconditioned. So reconditioning your muscles might make a big difference in your POTS symptoms. I've been using that word a lot and I realized I never explained, but reconditioning is basically the opposite of deconditioning. It's the process of building your muscles back up to get them back to normal size and function. You can do this by adding strength training and basic movement back into your life. The key is to start small and gradually increase as the moves get easier and easier. You also really need to do this every day or as often as you possibly can. I'll be posting a video of what my reconditioning process looked like, but it's different for everybody, so you really just have to experiment and see what works best for your body. I also have some videos on reconditioning exercises that worked best for me, but it's often kind of fun to create your own, just sort of mess around with movement and see what feels good. So I hope that cleared up some questions on deconditioning and reconditioning. Feel free to comment with any other questions you have. I'm actually writing a book on POTS and exercise, and this is a big part of that book, so look for that when it comes out. I'll let you know. There'll be a lot more details, a lot more scientific stuff. So anyway, I hope this was helpful, and I hope you guys are feeling a lot better soon.